Welcome to another edition of Carnivore Bites. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. And, I have to say this. I was teaching a night class, came home, a couple of friends of mine called me, and I'm like, what are you talking about with Biden? Because I've seen other clips of him being pretty much out there. I'm sorry, this is worthy of our discussion. If it was a B movie, I would say fine. Okay. What's the Gardener, the movie that came out in like the 80s? It's pretty much that. It is so bad. Biden, basically Obama doing the speech, everyone's rallying around him, and you have Biden walking around. I mean, it's funny but scary. And then putting his hand on Obama's shoulder, and here's the rub that I got. Obama knew, obviously, it was Biden, but basically gave the diss to him and the signal that the long knives are out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's no surprise, the stories of the fact that Biden and Obama did not get along have been around since the Obama administration. So this isn't really a surprise. The frightening part about it is Biden literally wandering around looking for someone to talk to. I mean, Obama.
Yes, no, that's the chilling part. But also, no. In business and politics, you have people you may not like, but it's just the way things go. Hey, John, Fred, Nancy, whatever. Hey, come on up. They're the CEO now. You're the former CEO. It was a bitch slap, excuse my language, and it was a clear signal that get rid of him. He's the kingmaker, like it or not, Obama. And it was a clear signal that, number one, Biden has no power, none, and it's time to eject him.
Yes and no. I don't think Obama was giving the signal. I think Obama was the signal. The Democratic Party knows nobody is rallying around Biden. They also know that despite her attempts to get back into politics, nobody is going to rally around Hillary Clinton. They needed somebody to come out for people to rally around. That somebody is Obama. He still has a very positive image. I think they're going to be, trying to pull him back into campaigning on the midterms.
Yes, I would agree with that. Of course, he's going to do that. But I think it's bigger than that. I think he's the power broker, and he's basically gave a clear signal that we need to replace him. He's Stalin, I'm sorry to put it in these terms, and it's Khrushchev and others. He anointed Khrushchev. If basically he sent a clear signal, he's not getting it done, I don't support him. And he's open game. And the other frightening thing is Biden's clear dementia, clear not misunderstanding of what's going on. I have never seen a situation anyone would say, any commentary, any editorial would say, when the president walks in the room, all eyes are upon him or eventually her, but not in this case. This was a royal diss.
Oh, it certainly was a royal diss. Although, you're talking about Obama as a kingmaker. I don't know that he's got that power anymore. He did at one point. But the fact of the matter is, looking at everything that's gone on through the Biden administration, these are all the same people that were in the Obama administration. So Obama is still the big high muckety muck with the left. They still love him. The moderates and independents are looking, going, these are his people. We cut him some slack because the man could sell ice to Eskimos. But now we're starting to see his policies, which, I mean, let's face it, Biden hasn't come up with any policies. They're all the same policies as the Obama administration. People are looking at these going, wow, these are getting us into a world of hurt.
Of course, I agree with that, but I still think he is a former president. He could have shaked Biden's hand, could have introduced him to a third-rate moron in the group, but he intentionally did that. That was not by accident.
Oh
and
no,
that is huge.
it was definitely intentional because Obama has always been all about Obama. Remember, when he went out campaigning for Hillary, his whole campaign slogan was it's about his legacy. Well, let's face it, Biden has just demolished. Biden has done more damage to the Obama legacy than Trump did. So of course,
100% agree. And
he's
that's why the
not gonna,
signal was sent. That's why the signal was
yes.
sent. No, because all the Democrats are basically Lewinskyites, and they work on political power. He gave the okay for the night of the long knives. And they're going to come out, and you will see it in the media. You will see it in politics. You will see it everywhere. He gave the flag to say he's toast. It couldn't have been clearer. And Biden is finished.
Oh, Biden's definitely finished. I mean, more and more Democrats have been coming out and saying not only do they expect a bloodbath in the midterms, they don't think there's any way to turn the ship around at this point.
No, there is absolutely no way. And speaking of the midterm so-called bloodbath, there will be a bloodbath in Congress. I did do the math. Unfortunately, I do not have that in front of me, but my calculation was that good situation, Republicans pick 3. It's not the veto proof.
No, the veto proof was always a long shot. There's still pundits claiming they can do it. I've never been really sure it was possible. Yeah, I think they're definitely going to pick up at least 2, which, let's face it, that's enough to give them control. I think the bloodbath is going to come in the House.
Oh, no, the House is a slaughterhouse. You need no cameras allowed. It's going to be literally like a slaughterhouse. You don't want the cameras there. It's like how they make sausage. No, you don't want. That's going to be a bloodbath. But I'm sorry, the wild card is the Republicans need to take control of the Senate. I put it at 2-3, which is fine, but it's got to happen.
Yeah, see, I don't have any doubt that they're going to pick up enough seats to take the Senate because, again, they only need a net gain of 1. So it's going to be very difficult for the Democrats to hold on with that. And when you're talking about the voting power, if Biden does double down on the left-wing agenda, which is what he seems to be signaling he's doing, you have to remember that you're not just going to have the Republican majority, you're going to have an empowered moderate Democrat base who's not going to go along with it.
Extremely good point. Not because they give a shit about America, they give a shit about their own ass, and you are 100% correct. And something I always correct my friends about, and you just said it, and I don't mean it in a critical way. When you say, Biden has nothing to do with anything. He's sitting in a chair with a bedpan, shitting himself. He has no idea what planet he's on. Everyone knows that. You look at that. I'm going to harken back at that again. But you look at the video with Obama, with the White House visit and Barack Obama there. He is a non-entity.
He really is. No, when I say Biden, I'm referring to the administration, not the
Got it.
man.
Okay.
If
There is no one
if
behind the mask.
if I have to refer to the man himself, I will call him Sleepy Joe. Yeah.
There you perfect. Now, speaking of socialists slash Democrats that we always talk about, it's always don't do as I say, or don't do as I do as I say. Stacey Abram got into politics with a net worth of about $100,000. Surprise, surprise, for those of you who are old enough to remember Gomer Pyle. She's now worth over $3 million. And dovetail to that, Black Lives Matter, for all you good liberal suburbanites out there, they just bought a $6 million retreat. Can you comment on
Yes.
that?
Well, in terms of Black Lives Matter, let's not forget that liberal California is actually investigating the charity Black Lives Matter for malfeasance.
It's
So
not a charity;
even
it's a fleecing scheme.
right, well, that's the point. Even you can't get any more liberal than California, and even they're going, no, this is a scam. So yeah, the more that comes out about it, the more people will understand that this was not a liberal movement. This was a con, a giant con. As for Abrams, well, I mean, this doesn't come as any surprise. Pelosi did the same thing. And quite frankly, Martha Stewart went to jail for doing less investment, shenanigans than most of Congress does.
No question. Yep, but isn't really being a liberal Democrat one of the most lucrative occupations you could ever imagine? You don't
It
have any
certainly seems.
scrutiny. Money flows like water. You get money from racial ideology. You get it from every bit of our society that's either scared or stupid enough to contribute.
It does seem that being a liberal Democrat is essentially a Ponzi scheme. I mean, remember, Bernie Sanders for years was going, "Oh, we got to go after the millionaires and the billionaires. We got to go after the millionaires and the billionaires." Well, now he's changed his tune. Now it's, we have to go after the billionaires. Why?
Yeah,
Because he's a millionaire.
yeah, and a person that didn't literally work till he was 40 years old, pretty close to Obama. I was talking to someone at work today, and it's like, imagine going home, people out there, and Dr. Lopkin, you graduated Harvard and blah, blah, whatever you graduated, okay? A lawyer, and you come home to your parents, your significant others, and they say, wow, that's really great pedigree. So what have you been doing, Eric, over the last 20 years? I'm a community organizer.
Yeah.
That's like when you're unemployed and you're writing a novel.
Exactly. Yes.
So he never worked a day until he became president or senator, actually.
Well, yeah.
That's not too much work either.
Well, I mean, we've seen how much work goes into being a senator. Biden was a senator for 50 years. He apparently was completely unprepared to be president.
Exactly. So you have, talk about, Stacey Abrams with the $6 million. You also got Zuckerberg contributing amazing amounts of money. Talk about a conflict of interest. This would be the open forum of speech. Obviously, on a political hack. And then on a good side, you have Elon Musk with Twitter. That's going to rattle the cage, I think.
It's definitely going to rattle the cage. Twitter has already started taking action just to limit what Elon Musk can do on his own. Right now, Elon Musk has bought 9.2% of Twitter, making him the largest shareholder. He's one of the few people, but he does have the wealth to actually buy Twitter outright. In order to keep him from doing this, Twitter gave him a seat on the board of directors. And one of the conditions of Musk taking that seat was he's not allowed to buy more than 14.5% of the company. Twitter is terrified of Elon Musk. But the fact of the matter is, he has all those followers. Now he's the largest shareholder. The other directors are going to listen to him. He is
Of
going
course.
to he
Plus,
is
he is the
going to be
bully
able to
pulpit.
make change.
He is a
I mean,
bully pulpit. Twitter's days of isolating and alienating conservative speech. Listen, they banned Trump, but they have ISIS leaders on it. What kind of convoluted logic is that?
exactly. And remember, people were booted off of both Twitter and Facebook for disseminating the New York Post article that unveiled the Hunter Biden laptop. Now, of course, the media is starting to catch on to the fact that, oh, this was actually a real story. So both Facebook and Twitter have egg on their face. They're going to have to answer to this. And Elon Musk is going to make sure that it doesn't happen again on Twitter.
Well, one thing, a little bit of word digestion. I don't think anyone caught on. I think they knew about it all the time. They repressed the story.
Oh, of course they did. There was
And
no
so it's not like
question.
Shazam, Shazam. We just found out this crap. They knew what, just like they did. They knew the Russia hoax was in fact a Russia hoax. They knew all this shit well before. Now they're coming to Jesus.
That's it. You know, you had a number of intelligence operatives who lied to the American public saying, oh no, it's Russian disinformation. They knew what Hunter Biden was up to. Everybody had to know what Hunter Biden was up to because look at all of the stories about his drug abuse, his antics. How is this
Womanizing
somebody?
everything.
Well, yeah, but how is this somebody that any energy company, especially a foreign one, would consider, oh, yes, this is someone we need to be in business with if Hunter Biden wasn't doing influence peddling?
Of course. There is absolute great point, Dr. Lapkin. There is 0.0 chance that you could get an entry level managerial job at a corporation. Oh yeah, well, I did a little crack cocaine and yeah, I do like strippers. Check please. But yeah, he's at the highest level of enterprise. How does that work?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And going back a little bit to we were talking about how Obama gave the signal that Biden is done. I think that signal came earlier because I've heard a number of Democrats talking about the fact that the ultimate plan is to not have Biden run in 2024. This way, just before he leaves office, he can pardon Hunter Biden and all of his cronies and try to bury
that is a
his
very
connection.
real possibility that yes, he's waiting it out, and that could be a very big possibility. Yes, we'll see how that plays out. Very interesting. But I do think what's also interesting, as the Republicans take control of the House and Senate, karma's a bitch, okay? Because
Yes,
what's going to happen is all those bullshit investigations with Trump. Yeah, Trump, killed Jack was Jack the Ripper. Blew up the space shuttle. All that bullshit. It's chickens sometimes come home to roost, and there's going to be amazing investigations because McCarthy's not like Ryan. He's not a pussy, and he's going to have Hunter Biden investigations. This thing. Biden's second half of his administration, not that the first half was anything not for the squeamish, but it's going to be an adjunct disaster.
Oh, yeah. Once the Democrats lose subpoena power, they are going to be on the receiving end of horrific investigations. Only this time, they're actually going to find stuff. You are starting to
That
see
no,
the
that
Democrat.
is something that should not. That's no small point. Before it was bullshit following bullshit. This is going to be rock people's world. CNN would have to actually cover this because there's shit behind the shit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Democrats' investigations are already falling apart. Uh, AG Garland on Friday gave a press conference because the January 6th committee is trying to put pressure on him to indict people because, oh, this is a risk to the democracy. And Garland stood up and said, I am not going to be pressured. I am going to follow the facts, which the January 6th committee doesn't have any, to the point that Adam Schiff was caught manufacturing evidence and had to admit to it. Also, we now have Hillary Clinton's attorney. The texts have been found confirming that he knew he was lying to the FBI. And there's talk that these texts not only link the lies to the campaign, they could actually link it to Hillary. So we're going to see where that goes. But the Democrats' phony investigations are all falling apart, and now the facts are coming out. And when the Republicans have subpoena power, the Democrats are not going to be able to sweep it under the carpet.
That is going to be much see TV without any question. Um, Speaking of fallen heroes, not that Biden was ever a hero, AOC is now increasingly taking, excuse my language, shit in her district for screwing up the Amazon deal.
Yeah, because the folks in her district understand that she cost them thousands, if not tens of thousands of jobs, and not
Good jobs, by the way.
not janitorial jobs. These were managerial jobs that paid well. These were mid 5-figure to 6-figure jobs that she took away from her constituents.
Where's the love, Dr. Lopkin? Doesn't she love all the middle class and lower middle class and wants them to aspire to be great? I mean, doesn't it fly against that?
The only thing that AOC loves is the spotlight.
And herself.
Absolutely. She has no idea how tax breaks and tax benefits were. She was actually out there at the time talking about the fact that, oh, New York City was going to pay Amazon for these jobs. No, New York City was not going to pay a dime. And she blew it. And now her constituents are pissed because she has accomplished nothing. There was
Actually,
a line on
she's
The
accomplished
Simpsons.
a lot because I think her and the squad literally destroyed the Democratic Party.
Oh,
A
yes.
bridge too far. At the beginning, it was like, cool, she's young, blah, 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 all this, new blood. And now even left of center people are like, this is a bridge too far. I am so done with this shit.
Yeah, because the squad went way too far to the left, and they're claiming, well, we're the party's base. No, they're not the party's base. The party's base is much more moderate. And how can they claim to be the base of the Democratic Party when most of them identify themselves as democratic socialists, not Democrats?
Well, I actually think the big driver of the bus that led them off the cliff was our buddy from Vermont. He's done so much damage to the Democratic Party. It's inconceivable, but that's for another podcast. 70% of people now fear nuclear annihilation. Your comments?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with the the fallout shelters and drills in school to go into the fallout shelters if anything happens. And we sort of got away from that. Now all of a sudden it's come back to the forefront. And the fact of the matter is, Biden gave Putin permission to do this. This is what happens when you have two mentally addled people in charge of the planet.
Well, I think it's, yes, I agree 100% with that. But I also believe that if you had a leader, highly flawed, Donald Trump, George W., Obama, these people are not, the gold standard of presidential leadership. That figure would be maybe around 30%. When people see, and they do because of social media and other venues, not on CNN, not on a CBS News at night with whatever her name is, O'Donnell.
Nora O'Donnell, yeah.
Nora O'Donnell, yeah, she's a real, hello. She, her biggest challenge in life was probably that no one asked her, or the person she didn't want or did want for the senior prom didn't ask her. That was her biggest challenge. She's a totally isolated person, lives in a bubble, has no clue of what's going on. But the point is that that's where we are. If we had a real leader, it would be down to maybe people would be concerned. It's a serious situation. But when you got numbnuts who's walking around the White House like Weekend at Bernie's, I'm scared. I mean, look what he said. Putin should be brought up on war crimes. If he should or not, that's another issue. It's escalating the situation. What else is he going to say? He doesn't get his medication, and he says another stupid bullshit thing. And why I'm pissed is because of my ass. I'm playing the back nine, but I want the last 20, 30 years to be kind of cool. I don't want to be blowing up in some moron's debacle.
Well, the problem isn't even that Biden's comments can escalate. It's much bigger than that. Yes, I honestly believe Putin should be brought up on war crime charges.
Fine, I'm not,
but the problem is, today, as we're recording this, the U.S. and its allies announced new sanctions on Russian oligarchs and Putin's kids. Well, the question is, why did you wait? You knew what was going on in the Ukraine. You knew what Putin was capable of. Why are we still not sanctioning the Russian energy industry where Russia gets most of its money?
Because we can't. Because Germany needs it.
No,
energy
Germany
dependent. It might have they need.
Germany does not need it. Germany
so what are they going to depend on?
Germany at this point is only dependent on for 14% of their energy coming from Russia. If Biden got out of the way and said, "Okay, guys, go drill." We've had several governors, the governor of Texas, governor of Missouri, a governor of Alaska, a number of others have all said, say the word, give us permission. We can fill that need right now.
Oh, no. Then there's really no argument, Dr. Locke. I agree 100%. But when you got a moron that's incapable of adjusting on the fly, okay, and it is beholden to left-wing nutcases, yes, anyone in their right mind would say, drill, baby, drill. Let's worry about green energy later. First of all, he's not in charge. That's a fact. Number two, he could basically resolve this situation. He is incapable, and that's why 70% of Americans are scared shitless because they know this guy's got no effing clue.
That's it. And I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't think Biden, and I'm talking about Sleepy Joe here, not that, I'm sure there's folks in the administration that have this feeling too, but I think Sleepy Joe wants to try to push this to a draw. he does not want either side to win because we know for a fact that both Zelensky and Putin have damaging information about Biden, and he doesn't want the loser to reveal it.
Very good point. The only caveat I would say to that, and I hate to beat a dead horse, I'm an animal rights person, by the way, for all these people out there, that I think I really believe, I'm really serious, he's so mentally disabled, I don't even know. I'm not sure that he has that strategic ability or that thought process.
Maybe not, but given that we know that most of that damning information involves Hunter Biden, I'm going to, again, go out on a limb and say probably Jill Biden is the one pushing Joe to do that.
There you go. Now that's well done, because like anyone who tells me when they have a conversation, when they say Biden did this, he did nothing. He's sitting in a chair watching reruns of Petticoat Junction. That's the last time he was probably mentally coherent, shitting in diapers. Okay, that's the end of it. Now, the last thing I'd like to talk to you about, Dr. Lopkin, is CNN. This is enjoyable. Our buddy from Reliable Sources, when you have an incoming regime telling you you're an asshole, that's a problem. Now, is that going on a limb, Dr. Lopkin?
Oh, no, not.
You are a moron.
Not
is it
at
time
all.
to get the resume going or not?
The folks at Discovery Communications who are taking over Warner Media, and they're talking about the fact that the deal could close as soon as this Friday, have made their displeasure with Warner Media very well known. They have said that Brian Stelter is an idiot. Again, we've talked about this. John Malone has said CNN has no journalists. Today, it was announced that the C-suite and all of the folks in charge of Warner Media, CNN's parent, have been given the boot. Discovery is doing a clean sweep. On top of that, they launched CNN Plus. This was a brilliant idea. Nobody's watching CNN for free. Why would somebody decide to pay for it? Well, apparently nobody did. CNN Plus staffers are talking about the fact that they all expect to be let go because this was a colossal failure. Discovery has already said their own streaming service, Discovery Plus, is going to be merged into HBO Max, and CNN Plus will probably go that way too. So you are
CNN Plus is interesting because that's like, I'm dating my younger than me, that's like My Mother the Car on streaming. It's like no one watched it when it was on the air, and yes, I'm going to pay for Seltzer to tell me about Reliable Sources, or Don Lemon, one of the true geniuses of the media. And by the way, last night I was talking to someone, I was just flicking through the channels, their lineup, thanks to Mr. Zucker, is literally, I don't know who becomes informed, is Anderson Cooper, which I think is highly, they have 3 hours of Don Lemon.
Oh, good Lord.
No, that's like 3 hours of someone scratching, the blackboard. 3 hours of the boy genius. So,
no, that is absolutely horrible, but
to watch.
Yeah, Discovery has made it clear that they are not putting up with what Warner has done in the past. CNN, I honestly believe, is going to get a clean sweep. Now, let's see if they can get some real journalists to come work at the network and make it news again.
Well, my only problem with all of it is there are so many talented people out there. How the F did Zucker? I mean, he destroyed. I used to watch CNN all the time. He destroyed. It's going to take years for them to rebuild their brand. They become a caricature of themselves. It is unwatchable. You got starting with Anderson Cooper, who's got fake glasses, Mr. Erudite, sucks, shitty interviewer, and then you got Don Lemon that basically might be his place really is on PBS and a children's show interviewing squirrels.
Well,
or is that too high for him?
All of these folks, that are losing their jobs at CNN, they can always go over to MSNBC because clearly they're hiring, because the story came out that Jen Psaki will be leaving the White House staff to become a contributor on MSNBC.
Must-see TV. Well, Dr. Lotkin, thank you very much. Another great edition of Carnivore Bites. And anything you would like to add, my friend and colleague?
If you've got something you'd like us to look into, or you just want to comment on what you're hearing, go to xvadio.com/connect and let us know. We want to hear from you. And of course, you can find every episode of Carnivore Bites, as well as the rest of the Xvadio podcast network at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts.
Well, thank you very much. And are you in Xvadio Network? Are you going to take any of the refugees from CNN?
Oh, no, they don't meet our qualifications.
Thank you very much. Take care, Dr. Lotkin.
We'll see you next week.